Hello, welcome. This is the first Enness Global Mortgages podcast. My name's Islay Robinson, and I'm joined today by two people you might recognise if you've ever been on LinkedIn. That's Hugh.
Hi.
And that's Toby. Hugh is our managing director and founder of Enness, and Toby is our sales manager. And what we're going to do today is talk through Enness, what we do, what we're up to, some of the things we're focusing on at the moment, and then get into a couple of real life examples of some of the questions that we get asked by our clients. But to start with, I'm going to do that awkward thing that was your idea, to ask 10 questions, quick fire, and just answer them. So nothing to do with mortgages. Toby, what job did you want to do when you were young?
I put banker.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's very exciting, is it?
Well done.
Maybe an astronaut.
Worst answer.
Maybe an astronaut. No?
Should we try and make it better?
Yeah, right.
What would you do for a living if you didn't do what you were doing now?
I'd be a rowing coach.
Okay, that's cool. Why?
Rowed when I was a young man.
Yeah.
And I like being on the water, yeah.
I don't know why I'm pretending I didn't know that. You can be less. You can be less modest. You rowed quite seriously, right?
Yeah, I did a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Good.
Yeah.
Hugh.
Yeah.
Who's your celebrity lookalike?
You asked me this and I didn't have much time to think about it. Ian, do you remember Ian said that I look like Sebastian Loeb, the rally driver?
Yeah, also.
I don't really know if he's a celebrity because no one's going to have a clue who he is. But if you Google Sebastian Loeb, that's probably going to be the guy.
Everyone's going to do that. Mine's James Corden, apparently. And I once bumped into him and he thought the same thing exactly. What season best fits your personality?
Let's go autumn. No, winter probably, I think, which makes me sound like a bit sharp. But
Toby, summertime.
Summertime, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Jumpers, yeah.
Favourite movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, it's with Forrest Gump, isn't
I
it?
can't watch Wolf of Wall Street. It just sends me off the rails the minute I watch it.
It's like twice a night, twice a week in my house.
Yeah, exactly. Favourite restaurant in the world?
Delfino's, Mount Street.
Nice.
It's got to be Hakkasan in London, yeah.
Yes, 1980s. Are you a collector of something?
No, nothing. Go on, Toby.
No, not really.
Hugh, do you wish you hadn't introduced this part into the schedule?
Not, I mean, the purpose was to try and make you feel a bit awkward, both of you. So it's working, yes.
Here we go. Who would you want to trade lives with?
Roger Federer.
Yeah, nice. Good answer. During retirement or after or before?
The whole
retirement?
thing, yeah.
Whole bit, all the way
From
through.
start to finish.
He's a cool
Boris
guy.
Becker?
Yeah, but first part, yeah. Got to be an F1 driver, I think, isn't it? So someone like probably Lewis Hamilton or a Sebastian.
We've talked about it a lot. It's either F1 or golfer.
Yeah, golf, probably.
Not
golf.
the Premiership footballer. It's just golfer, I think.
It's a better sport.
And Hugh, how many pairs of shoes do you own?
I must have more than 60 pairs of shoes.
Organised.
Yeah, all organised. Like
in a cupboard?
Yeah, in different cupboards, our own little box. Probably about, 30 pairs of trainers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to say that it's because I just keep them. It's not. I do throw quite a lot out. So it's
Do you?
literally, I just
Keeping
continue.
Nike
Yeah,
afloat.
Toms, trainers, work shoes.
In bright colours as well, no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pinks, whites, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Toby?
Like 5.
5, yeah.
They all travel with me.
Yeah. And you bought 4 of them this morning. I think I've got 1 pair of shoes now.
That's not
like
true.
Shoe
You-
shoes.
Is that true?
Okay.
Still, is it?
I've got lots of Air Max, which is now kind of where
You've
I
got
live
some very
my
nice
life.
Christmas Air Max as
I
well.
do have Christmas Air
Yeah,
Max.
which your wife won't let you wear, I think.
No, she.
Not a fan of those ones.
Especially when it's the middle of summer. Okay, look, that's just a bit of fun, just to kind of give you a little bit, perhaps about the way we think, our personality, just something completely irrelevant. But there we go. So let's just get into something a bit more serious. Hugh, you've got to be best placed to answer this question. What is Enness? Who is Enness, and where do we come from?
So, going back, Enness originally was a mortgage brokerage that we started in August 2007. The idea behind that was where we used to work, which was at Alexander Hall, which were Foxton's mortgage guys. It was a great company, great brokerage, but very much focused on that kind of middle tier of mortgage broking. And we saw a sort of niche for that high net worth and more complex market. So we've grown since then, just a little bit, a few changes. We're now about 40 people and we're located in 5 different locations globally. London, Monaco, Dubai, Jersey, Geneva, and...
That's 5.
Yeah, that's 5. Okay, yeah, 5.
Ibiza.
And Ibiza.
Probably France by the time this opens as well, because that's...
And we're lending globally. And then as we'll probably come on to in a little bit, I think in the last 12 months especially, that we've sort of moved to a more holistic debt offering, which has included what we call securities-backed lending, so lending against stocks and shares in layman's terms, and also corporate finance, which is for that kind of entrepreneurial company debt. So very much debt-focused, international-focused, high-net-worth focused.
It's hard to explain that now. We used to just say we do big mortgages, complicated mortgages for people all over the world. But over the last 12 months, we've just expanded that into something of a debt ecosystem, which is a phrase we're working on. So if you're a wealthy individual, if you're a high net worth individual, if you're an international person and you want to borrow money against stuff, if it's property or shares or boats, planes, cars, cognac, we've done wine and everything else, where that solution for that using a couple of hundred lenders from across the world. Toby, key principles.
I think there's 2.
Yep.
Get stuff done.
Get stuff done, yeah. Love it.
We might use something else internally, but get stuff done. And then people, both externally and internally. So working with good people, interesting people, and then internally having good people execute on good deals. Yeah.
I think that's one of our biggest learnings from Enness. It's OQP, right? Yeah. Only quality people. And it makes the business run better, and that's one of our kind of driving principles. Overview of our services. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, go on. So I'll touch on it again. Yep. So residential mortgages in the UK, commercial mortgages in the UK, bridging finance and development finance, international mortgages. So typically private residences on the international side. I mean, lending really $1 million plus as a minimum, internationally $3 million plus, and also, as mentioned, corporate finance and securities-based lending, so stocks and shares.
So we'll break all those down in a moment. Who are our clients, Toby?
Wealthy, global individuals with probably complicated or complex backgrounds, multiple jurisdictions, income worldwide, with big assets in Europe.
Good. And Hugh, I've worked with you for 20 years now.
Yeah.
This question has been asked every single day since we started. Why would someone use us rather than just go to the bank?
I think probably Toby touched on it before, just getting stuff done. I think that's the reality of it. I think people just want certainty of funding, to speak to someone who's half sensible and just give them a straight answer, pick up the phone 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Yep. So that service point, and also just breadth of lenders that we have now. I think sort of we're working with 200-300 different lenders all the time. So we can get stuff done quicker, but I think crucially as well, the solution usually is the best as well.
Even when I apply for a mortgage, I'm just like, no one's going to give me a mortgage. Is it going to work? Is it going to be really painful? So that's even me. We work with 500 lenders around the world. We've done it for 20 years and I still panic.
No, I'm absolutely terrified every time I do my mortgage,
Go on, give me a fiver. But I think for me, it's you want a mortgage. It's a complicated market. It's international. It's time consuming. It's frustrating. It's laborious. And we just cut through that. You come to us, tell us what you want to do, we'll figure it out for you. And then we say quite a lot, it's quite easy to find a mortgage on the internet. You know, Barclays will give you 129, but it's hard to get Barclays to give you a mortgage. And I think that's a big part of our offering as well. This is the mortgage you could have, we're going to get it for you. And I think that's really important at the moment. So let's talk about some of these new lines, new lines of business that we've introduced over the last couple of years. Who's going to start with bridging finance?
Shall I take it?
Go for it.
Cool. So I think historically bridging finance, taking a loan that bridges a gap between two properties is probably slightly archaic, although we do lots of that. When we talk about bridge financing, it's more how we react to opportunities, raising capital very quickly in order for people to take advantage of something that's been put on their table. Many of our clients are asset rich, cash poor, so raising some cash for them to put into a project, investment, or buy the real estate at a good price is key.
That's it. I think when we started, bridging finance was, I've got a big problem, I need to borrow money, and I'm prepared to get chased around by some really nasty guy until I paid it right. It's not that anymore. It's if you need to borrow money quickly, secured against property, to react to an opportunity or solve a problem, bridging finance is something that people use instead of going through the more involved private bank or high street bank route.
Sure,
and some people will pay a premium just to get that certainty of money, which is the thing you talked about. Hugh, securities finance, what on earth is that?
Yeah, so I guess the easiest way to sort of explain it is stocks and shares, which we all appreciate or understand. And traditionally, one would assume if you had a large portfolio of stocks and shares that you could just go maybe to whoever you bank with, whether it be a sort of clearing bank like HSBC or Barclays, or a bit more sophisticated like a Credit Suisse or a Julius Baer. That works. So that is a solution. That's what a lot of people do. But a lot of our clients are entrepreneurial. They don't necessarily have Alphabet stock or Amazon stock, but maybe they have stock in the business that they floated a couple of years ago, or they have stock which is pre-IPO, so it's not yet gone to market. So what we're doing is we're looking for those stocks which maybe have lower trading volumes, high levels of private ownership, for whatever reason are unfancied by these banks and lenders, and they can't get any leverage there, so they'll come to us, and we've got many lenders, non-bank lenders, who will lend pretty aggressively against these. And I think what we're doing in that situation is we're just unlocking liquidity for people who didn't realise they had it. So that's the thing, right? So when we started looking at this product, it was assets under management, do a Lombard loan against your portfolio, and it's kind of it's a subjective thing. People don't really understand why. But why do people do that? Why if you've got £10 million worth of shares, why would you take a loan? I think for a lot of these guys, it's because they are quite entrepreneurial. So they're usually fairly long on their own company that they're kind of invested in. Maybe it's something they floated. There's a lock-in period. So what we tend to find is obviously you have that kind of top 1% of the top 1% who cash in abundance, assets in abundance, and everything. But usually most people fairly heavily invested in property. Be it sort of family home and usually a holiday home, and also their own businesses. So sometimes if that business is public, then maybe they will have that 10 million in stock in their own company. Now they can't just sell that stock down. It's going to obviously have negative impact on the business they run. So it's just finding that money. And again, it's just finding that arbitrage position of if you can borrow on that stock at 1%, 2%, 3%, and you're half sensible and you can return at 20 or 30% in your business, it's a no-brainer.
And the tax advantages.
Yeah.
What amazes me and some of the other things is we work with some incredibly wealthy people, prominent people, and people with great jobs and great careers and businesses, but lack of cash is a thing, right? And the number of times we get called, I need to do this, but I haven't got any cash. And that's because people invest. Inflation, investing in opportunities, not tying it up and everything else. So that's one of the things. It's this idea of creating liquidity for people to do things, and that's a part of our thing. Toby, luxury asset finance, what does that mean?
It's the fun stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yachts.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's the expensive stuff.
You're doing it wrong.
Yachts, cars, planes, all the other stuff, cognac.
Yep.
Paintings, jewellery we've looked at a bit, watch collections, all the other stuff that's not fixed to the ground.
So this one, we think quite a lot about this, and people don't tend to borrow money from us in particular when they're ascending. So when people have made their money, they go and buy these things with cash, or they bank with a big international private bank and they will lend them the money. For this stuff, it's usually people that have gone, and then they need to come back down. And again, it's I'm selling it, I need the money for something, or I've got a problem. So for me, boats, cars and planes tend to be more for solving problems again, rather than on the ascent. Corporate finance is the other main one that we've introduced. The most recent, so we introduced it last quarter, and Scott Monks heads that up for us. Corporate finance, what does that mean to us?
I think the gap that we see maybe is slightly different to kind of the other the vision that other people have on corporate finance, and we've spoken about this quite a bit, that we said if you need 200 grand, 300 grand, £500,000 for your business, you probably tick enough boxes to get Funding Circle to give you a loan, or friends and family, or one of these kind of even maybe a clearing or retail bank will do it. We're not interested in that. Firstly, typically because of size, and then probably if you need 100 million or 200 million and your business is charging towards IPO, then you can probably get Credit Suisse or one of these big banks interested. So I think I'm correct in saying what we're really looking at is that 5 to 50, maybe 5 to 100 corridor, where we think people are running good businesses, interesting businesses, quite often quite profitable business or rapidly growing businesses, but just that accessibility to funding isn't there. So a lot of it is quite often tidying up facilities of businesses which have grown quite rapidly. So maybe there's 3 or 4 different facilities, from a few places that need tidying up, even through to rebanking, which is quite a basic thing. But, we work a lot with trust companies and corporate service providers where banking facilities are messy and maybe outdated. So it's really, that side of things. We joke that we're kind of staying away from the funding of the gold mine in Azerbaijan, which is kind of the stuff that, you get the spam emails and the spam stuff on LinkedIn on. But, I think, look, good businesses, good clients, sensible people, we can find a solution. And I was talking about yesterday, actually, that even in a situation where we can't say, look, we don't have a silver bullet for this, we can't solve your problem, but actually, given that we've got offices in Monaco, in London, in Dubai, Geneva, Jersey, I'm going to get lost again, aren't I? That we know corporate certifiers, we know professionals in all these locations that usually actually we can help and we can create some kind of solution.
That point is really important. I think that's one of the things that we don't define that we do, but it's one of the most important. People come to us and say, I'd like to do this. And a lot of our, let's pick on a bank, if it doesn't fit with the bank's criteria, they say, no, we can't help you, and then the client has to go somewhere else. But what we do is we say, we can't do this because of this, but this is the next best thing. Or if you change this, you can have this. Or if you wait a bit of time and we pay a bit extra, we'll solve it this way. So it's not kind of roll the shutter, no, we can't help. We're going to come up with the alternatives and the angles and the ideas to help our clients deliver their plans / solve their problems. Those are the two kind of things that we do.
There's an interest rate for everyone, isn't there?
There is. 0 to, what's the maximum? What's the maximum?
That sounded fairly sinister the way you said that.
There is, though. I think, and a solution to everyone.
There's a solution. That's better.
That's probably less.
With corporate finance, again, it's, we've run a business for 14 years and it's been good. At times it's not been good. And the number of times we've gone into a bank and we know these guys and we say, this is our business, this is our profit, this is our market, this is how we've done this, our experience. And banks just don't want to help SMEs. I think that's a thing. Because it's time consuming, people don't understand, it's so varied. So you've either got the main banks, Barclays, Lloyds, no interest, right? I don't know who goes to those guys and gets a mortgage, sorry if you're listening, but this is just the way it goes. And then you've got the other extreme, which is the kind of the business loans, the short credit, all of those type of things. And then in between, there's a fragmented market of different service providers. And how can anyone navigate that? We can't even navigate that.
I think a lot of it's ego as well, isn't it? That actually sort
With
of...
Hugh, it is Hugh.
Yeah. But it's more, I think we're dealing with people who intrinsically are successful. They've either had success themselves in their business or family. And so actually they'll have 2 or 3 banks or sort of professional teams around them. And so generally they maybe go into Julius Baer, who they see as like the sophisticated solution, and that can't happen. And they, like you said, they've got a Barclays or someone who have just not even given them a time of day to start with. And then I think it's general embarrassment of going to door knock. I think certainly, I don't think it was sort of embarrassment, but we had our back in the day, remember Allied Irish bank account, when Allied Irish closed, so it wasn't...
I did set fire to myself in a restaurant with
But it's no fault of our own. But Allied Irish just shut down and we had to find new banking facilities, and it was like it was a huge headache, and it was... it just wasn't a pleasant process. So I think being able to just have someone navigate through that helps.
My story with Allied Irish is it fit for this type of environment?
I don't know what you're going to say.
So I'll relive the story. So this was a long time ago, and we were in a restaurant in in Waterloo, and the bankers took us out for a Christmas lunch.
I know where you're going.
Hugh and I got very excited, so we had a couple of beers break of dawn, and then we got there and we had a lovely lunch, and the restaurant was packed. And back then we didn't have much money, so my suit was quite shiny and
we got a few of those in the
exactly. And so I ordered a round of sambucas. You set fire to them. I forgot. I thought they were tequila, so I slammed them. The liquid then popped up, hit my suit, set me on fire. You put me out, and then they withdrew our overdraft.
Yeah,
so,
unsurprisingly.
I don't know, we might have to cut that bit out. But
I'm sure we're too unrelated, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just go back. So. You were talking about that embarrassment thing about people going to borrow money, and when we want to do it. So in Monaco, right? We offer solutions in Monaco. That's the same thing, right?
Yeah. So, I think a lot of it. I think it's and more so we're probably I think in the UK people are very. I mean, they're very fortunate in terms of like the mortgage offering is huge and very sophisticated. Banking is as well. And I won't pick on Monaco because there's a lot of great things there. But yeah, it's fair to say in some of the other locations that we work in that maybe the offering isn't so wide. The kind of banking facilities. So you maybe go to, let's pick on Portugal or Spain or the Balearics. That kind of problem of availability of credit, availability of banking, of availability of just good professional people is just heightened like 100 times. And so, it's...
Especially that cross-border bit. If it's complicated for a UK person to get a mortgage in the UK, imagine if you're in the Middle East where you're based or financing in the south of France via a structure in Luxembourg. You've got no chance unless you've got someone on your side. I think that's kind of it. Toby... On the spot, tell us about 3 of the deals you're working on at the moment. What's the best? Let's show off. Come on, you're on TV.
Best one I'm working on. Which one?
Just 3,
what are we doing? 18 million on 35 at the moment. 4 townhouses.
Why did they need you in that one?
To get the best rate, that was.
Yeah.
Needed to be rebanked, has some good existing relationships, dissatisfied with their existing providers.
Rebanked, but also the valuation point was quite
valuation important. Managed heavily, so they working with various. I think I say to people, so mortgage brokers, we spend our time opening accounts for people and protecting valuations. The credit bit with most of our clients takes care of itself. They're rich, they get mortgages, right? Valuations, especially in prime central London, the valuers have been hammering them. I was speaking to someone last week, even the disparity between real estate agents and valuers has sort of never been as wide. You get a very optimistic outlook from Savills, whoever it might be at the moment. But if you speak to their valuing team, they're pretty pessimistic still, which doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, I agree completely.
I guess one has a lot more risk and one is trying to sell properties, but it's
glass half full.
Yeah, exactly. those people.
Saw a picture yesterday. It was like your view of a house, which is a mansion. The person selling it,
the tax
man, the lender, the surveyor, and then the tax man, something like that. So what else? You've got that one. That's a cool deal.
That's a cool deal. We're doing 30 odd flats in South London. We've provided a standby letter of credit as such for that deal. That's 18.5 million on 25. So that's heavily leveraged. And that is there as a support vehicle for an ongoing other transaction to the value of 150 million. So we're just protecting his interest in another deal. And I've got an interesting one, Eaton Place. 2 properties valued together at just over 20 million. I'm looking to raise 16 million for them. Dubai-based family, Indian heritage, interesting business, interesting properties. Interesting background, held through structures.
You're based in Dubai, so do you think the Middle East are coming back to London to buy lots of properties?
Feels like it this week, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
We were saying about last night, since it went amber, I mean, the Edgware Road's much busier, that old haunt.
Connaught is.
There's more G-Wagons parked around.
Lord Ray by Harrods.
More people
Have you bought your G-Wagon yet?
No, I haven't. That's on the to-do list,
Next year.
White with black wheels, suitably low-key.
Exactly.
You've got to fit in with the Russians in the south.
Exactly.
All right, so next we're going to do just some readers' problems, as we've called it. So I'll read it and then let's see what comes of it. So these are things that clients ask us. So when we're talking about how we present ourselves, people don't phone us up and say, I'd like a 70% loan to value at 2% with a challenger bank or anything like that. They call us and say, I've got a problem, or this is what I want to achieve. So my bank wants AUM as part of the mortgage. So AUM is assets under management. So what the customer's saying, I want to get a mortgage, but the bank wants me to put some of my assets with them as part of that. Is there another way?
Yes, I think, that's kind of, I always say, we do 2 things quite well, but I always say we do 2 things well, and those 2 things, the first one is more complex individuals, for whatever the reason that might be, whether it be sort of just structure, legal reasons, political reasons, reputational reasons, just general sort of headaches.
Exotic.
Yeah, exactly.
Summer holidays.
And the second is dry loans, as people refer to it, so lending without AUM. And people don't want to. is the truth.
Yep.
And I think a lot of our clients have good relationships with private banks or with wealth managers or with asset managers. So they don't necessarily want to disturb that. It's not to say they won't at any point, but I think they don't want to be forced into sort of having to move money, to borrow money. So yeah, look, I think in the UK, we're all in agreement that it's fairly commonplace that you can borrow without AUM. Okay. So I think we always say to our clients, if you're buying in the UK, we can do that, no problem. That is something we can arrange for you. On the continent and internationally, it's trickier. And certainly, I think if you're going to be borrowing upwards, let's say, of 2 or 3 million on the continent, France, Spain, etc., there's probably going to be some kind of requirement for AUM. But what we can do is we can reduce that, potentially mitigate it completely. But sometimes we can sort of move it into looking at other stuff. So there's certain banks we work with will say, well, look, if we can get some business on the trust side, then we can remove the need for AUM. If we can get some comfort in other areas, and we can reduce this need for AUM on this loan. Yeah. So look, the answer to the point is, yeah, absolutely, we can help. And I think certainly depending on kind of how, flexible you can be on sort of other parts of what you're doing, then we can to completely remove it entirely.
Yeah, okay.
It blows my mind still that banks ask for AUMs to do a loan. You introduce them to their top 5 client they've been gagging for 20 years, £20 million loan. Okay, well, give us 10 and we'll give you a loan. It's like, well, give us a loan and he'll give you 10.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
No, I know, I agree completely. Toby, for you, I want to buy a house. I'm pretty wealthy. I don't have any income. I don't have it. What's a really handsome like James Corden? Okay, I'll start again. I want to buy a house in London.
Yep.
I'm pretty wealthy. Here's all my assets and liabilities, but I don't have any income. Yeah. What can I do?
We can get you a mortgage, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, Hugh.
The long answer, short answer.
Exactly.
We can monetise liquid assets.
What does that mean?
Take other liquid assets, cash, stock shares, other investments you might have, and monetise them over the period of the loan. Okay. So instead of saying you earn £500,000 a year and you can afford to pay 10 grand a month in interest, we say you have £5 million and you can afford to pay 10 grand a month in interest. That's the simplest one. There's lots to do.
Yep. Prepaid?
Prepaid interest we can do, yeah.
Rolled up?
Rolled up interest we can do.
High net worth?
Do you want to answer the question?
Yeah.
It's keen.
It's very
keen. The list goes on.
Let me have a go, please. I think there's this common thing of, in the UK particularly, I know UK mortgages more than the European stuff, but if you're wealthy and you've got assets, you don't have to have pay slips. No. Many banks, there's a high net worth exemption, and many banks will just go, okay, you've got lots of assets, you're wealthy, you can afford this, and then we can work it out. So that kind of pay slip P60 type thing isn't necessary. No. You can show some means, okay. I am based overseas and I have no footprint in the UK. Can I still buy a property in the UK?
It's pretty much all my clients.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get something on this one.
I'll try and last more than 30 seconds. Yes, we can.
I want to find out the gold mine in Azerbaijan.
100%, yeah. There's no need to have... I'll try and say something eloquent. There's no need to have a footprint in the UK, really. And a lot of clients don't, although they've come to school here maybe, done university here maybe done their summer holidays to go shopping at Harrods.
Yeah, that's not sufficient for a mortgage.
No, it's not. Well, depends how much you bought. Yeah. If you've gone really big. No, there's really no need. It doesn't make a huge difference. I think if you're walking into Nationwide or so on, then you might need one. Yep. But for all the big international players, there's no requirement.
Yeah, I agree. It's I think we helped 78 different nationalities last year get a mortgage in the UK. So that's just not really a thing, is it?
No.
But people make that a thing. And
I think the reasons a thing is the retail banks absolutely say, right, you have to have had some kind of credit footprint here, or you have to be in voter roll. So I think it's just assumed at a higher level. But given most of the banks we work with are probably headquartered outside of the UK, then like you said, it's just not relevant.
If you start on gocomparethemarket.com, you need a footprint.
Yeah, exactly.
If you come to us, you don't. Yeah.
We're setting ourselves up to get loads of no income,
That's fine.
footprint.
So I don't want to borrow.
So I've been doing that for 5 years.
You said 100% loan to value,
no
development finance.
Less than 1%.
Hugh, what are our plans for this year?
Okay, so plans. What have we got? We've got like 4 months left. Is my maths correct? So we're opening an office in France, down in the south of France, which is exciting, and we'll hopefully just continue to elevate our presence there. Big sort of focus that we've spoken about a lot is trying to grow our presence as well in the Channel Islands.
Yeah.
Grow out that office in Jersey and go and have a little bit of a look around Guernsey and Isle of Man. And really, these sort of 2 new lines of a securities-based lending and corporate finance are big sort of focuses for us.
Yeah.
So I think just driving as much through those two channels as we can.
So some recruitment, a few more offices, and then just building on all the platform that we've built. What's your job at Enness?
That's a bloody good question, isn't it?
Why did you ask me that for a second?
What do you do
at Enness?
I manage and look after all the brokers, and actually probably a little bit more, yeah. The day-to-day running, I keep everyone happy. I report. I solve problems for a lot of them as well. Not just personal problems, but lending problems.
Yeah.
I find solutions for a lot of them. Yeah.
I think that's one of we've managed to find quite a collaborative environment for the brokers. So our customers come in with, I want to do this, or this is my problem. But then we've got lots of assets, lots of countries, lots of structures, and everyone's got their different experiences. So you kind of knit that together and get the outcomes for the customers.
Correct, yeah. I get to sit a little bit above it all, see what's going on. I think you're right. We've got people in Dubai who work with Dubai-based clients all the time, speak to Dubai-based banks, people in London that don't. But if they come across a client like that, we have a nice mesh system to connect the two.
We've got that WhatsApp group, haven't we?
We have that WhatsApp group.
We have many WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, we have
Too many WhatsApp groups.
Guys, that was great. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I hope that was insightful. We covered a lot of ground. Let's commit to doing this again in a couple of months in Dubai.
100%.
And thanks for watching.